Hello everyone and welcome to another video with Cass on the Maizuma channel. So today I want to show you my new villager trading system that I designed with Siberian Hat. I love it, it's amazing, it's super amazing guys. But it's still a prototype, so it has a few flaws that of course I will point out during the video. But mostly it has advantages, so yeah, this is version 1. Okay, so first thing you will notice is how beautiful it looks. It's pretty much a flat wall that you can decorate in as many ways as you want. Maybe you want to have item frames here with items representing the trades that you get. Maybe you want to have a few signs in here. And yeah, you keep everything organized. You can see the trapdoors that I'm using here to keep those villagers apart from each other. And as with all the villager trading systems, if you find a villager that you don't want to trade with, you can get rid of them. So let's check out this guy maybe. I don't want a leather worker, so I can just press the button and get rid of this guy. And wow, that was quick. If you get rid of villagers, eventually they will get replaced by another villager. As long as you have this entire thing connected to a villager breeder that can provide, so yeah, just connect your villager breeder to this thing and it will send the villagers in and everything will work. Alright, so how am I getting new villagers here and how is this thing so simple? Let me just fly around here and you will see now how this works. So a new villager arrives and then he will find a open trapdoor and then he will fall in. And wherever you have a new space, there will be space available for the villagers. That will be an open trapdoor. So yeah, here comes a new one. So automatically the villagers want to walk towards this direction and then it closes behind them and then you just have to wait for another villager. If all the trapdoors are closed, then we will have a long path here ending right here, and this guy is basically going to be pushed and die. Poor guy. Okay, so this is the redstone. Yeah, it doesn't use any pistons, so it's really I don't need a lot of iron to do this. It uses only 4 observer blocks for each cell, which is really great considering how compact this thing is. Doesn't use any pistons or slime blocks, so yeah, you don't need to worry about finding slimes to make a really big system out of this. Those trapdoors can all be wooden ones. You don't need iron trapdoors. It's good to have iron trapdoors in some places that I will show during the tutorial, but they're not strictly necessary. You need maybe a little bit of iron for those rails, but those are replaceable. There are other options that you can use here. I probably will comment about those options during the tutorial. And here, I'm just emulating a villager breeder by using a command block here, just to spawn villagers from time to time, and then they go through the water streams, then they get inside the the mob elevator, they get pushed in, and then they get inside the system one by one. So, as I mentioned, the system is not exactly perfect. Let's see if this guy is going to push the other one. I think it just did. So yeah, as you can see, sometimes a mob will stop here for apparent no reason, and they are going to get pushed by the other guy. So yeah, apparently we're not lucky enough to see this guy getting pushed for now, or are we? Yeah, that's it. And sometimes let's try to force the situation. Yeah, we don't need to. Sometimes we get more than one villager inside this. So if your villager breeder is too fast, sometimes you're gonna get more than one villager inside one cell. But I tried to come up with a solution for this as well. So if you have those guys here, and let's say you really want this farmer, but you don't want that guy back there because this guy back there is a nitwit, doesn't trade anything. So if you press the button now, like here, yeah, this guy's gonna die. But if you want to save those, you can just press this other button here, and then activate the save option. So this lamp turns on, and if you go back to your cell now, if you clicked this, they are not going to die. Instead, they're going to drop inside the water streams again, and then they're coming back to the system so they can be reintroduced inside the system. So of course you need to make sure that you have enough cells for them to occupy, so you probably need to make some room in order to get them back. Yeah, just to show you guys what happens without the save system. So with this deactivated, you can click this and the villager will just fall wherever you want them to fall. So you can just have them land on top of a magma block if you think it's better. Also, it's safe against attacks from zombies. So a regular zombie, of course, is not going to be able to get to them, as well as baby zombies, as well as those guys here, the chicken jockeys. And a lot of people don't know, but those guys are different because of their hitboxes. So if I have a let's say a carpet in here, this guy can get in because he responds with the hitbox from the chicken and not with the zombie. The zombie doesn't count. The baby zombies can't go through, and the regular zombie also cannot go. So let me get rid of the zombies for now, just pressing this button. And even trapdoors are not going to work here. Trapdoors will also get opened by the button when you press it. And yeah, unfortunately you have to have slabs here. This would look a lot better without any blocks in here, but unfortunately this is what we need to do. So yeah, once again, unfortunately, we got two in one cell, so you can either save them or you can just get rid of them. Not a big deal. Yeah. So the final, no, not the final thing yet. So as I mentioned before, it's important that you slow down those guys here. So one thing you can do is to have a solid block in the tube. So in one of my latest videos I mentioned with Sabrina Hat that if you have a solid block inside a tube with downwards flowing water, mobs will not keep swimming. So you have to get rid of this block and place a transparent block in order for the mobs to flow. And this is one mechanism that you can use to slow down these mobs here. You can just keep switching this block here with a solid block, and then they will get slowed down. There is even an option where you could like space out a few solid blocks, and in some special cases that I'm not going to get into because it's a lot to talk, they will just be slowed down instead of stopping and dying from drowning. So time to reveal the magic. Some of you guys probably have already figured it out by now. So how am I doing this? How am I making sure that those guys are always going to walk towards this direction and search for a place to be? And the answer is right here, guys. It's just a village. So this inverted T shape here with a door and a villager here will create a artificial village. This village key could be, for example, your infinite villager breeder. So you just make the villagers breed in here and then throw them inside a water stream, make sure that they are all adults, then throw them here and they will always want to go back to their original village. And because of that, they will always go through this path. And yeah, the village itself has to be 64 blocks far away from the point where you want your villagers to detect it. And it's a straight line, so you have to calculate the distance or measure it or do whatever. And yeah, this is the magic. No minecarts necessary, no water streams, which means that you can build this in the nether. Not a lot of iron, no sticky pistons, no slime, so really compact, easy to replicate. And yeah, I think it's a really good option, especially when you don't have all the resources. And yeah, simple, very simple to use, really simple to manage. You can probably even make a slightly more complicated system using the save option that I just mentioned here to sort the villagers. So you send, for example, all the farmers to a specific location, then you introduce them back inside a specific location that you have previously selected here, and this should be amazing. Okay, guys, really hope that you guys liked this because it's time to do some tutorial. Okay, people, so we're looking at one of the slices, one of the cells, holding cells for the villagers inside the market. And I will do a quick explanation of how this works. So if you're not too experienced with Redstone, this might look a little bit scary to you, but I'm sure that after the explanation, you're going to get it. So the villagers will be walking here, and since they are not able to tell when a trapdoor is open or closed, they will just fall inside and closing the trapdoor behind him. So when the next villager comes in, this becomes the floor for them, so they will not fall into the same cell, at least most of the time. So the way this works is we have a piece of string here. It's a little bit difficult to see with my texture pack. Then it activates the observer, and the item inside this dropper gets shot inside this other dropper, and since this comparator empowers, then the trapdoor closes behind it. So this is the first section. The second important thing here is we need this lever here always closed to make sure that this trapdoor stays vertical. And the reason why is because you can see here that the villagers are standing on a trapdoor. And if I place the player here and F5 and F3B, you can have a look at the bounding boxes for the villagers and the players. So you can see that villagers are slightly taller, so they're not able to go through the vertical trapdoor, but the player is. Oh, if I don't kill myself. And this is why this is what holds each of the. I'm getting confused here. Sorry. This is what holds them in place. So even if I punch the villager, he's not capable of crossing to the other side. All right. So finally, the last sub-circuit is the cyan one. So this guy is standing on top of two trapdoors, and that's because when we hit this guy, we want this guy to go through, and we need to power those two. This is here to make sure that this guy cannot cross to the other side. And then we use the powered lamp here to send the signal to the observer, and then this is the way Sabrina had found to make the signals cross to the other side here without interfering with the villager falling. So let's pay attention to how it goes through the trapdoors. Yeah, this one will be kept open and this one will just pulse. You can see that those open to the side, which is something that you would not anticipate. But this is very important that all of this line of vertical trapdoors are aligned, otherwise we have problems with the system. And here we have a rail just to cut on delays. We can also replace it, I will show you during the tutorial, and then send the signal to the other side of the latch, and then it opens the trapdoor and is ready to get a new villager in. Time to build, guys. And the easiest way to expand these things is to just build one unit and then extend every block from the side, in my opinion. So let's make maybe 7 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to leave the trapdoors for the last portion of the building section, so that I can reinforce what I just said before. Let's place those blocks in here. Alright, so now what you can do here is to place your rails like this, but there are a few options here just to overcome some problems that you might have, because in this direction it's really easy to do that, but if you do this in the other direction, let's say like this, if you place anything in the middle, those will change direction, which is annoying. So what you can do instead is just use redstone dust. Just alternate those with redstone dust, and they should operate independently and without any problems. So let's place those observers in here. It's always a good idea with those simple builds to have the observers placed first. And now these, you don't really need glass here, it's just because of the tutorial. So with your levers, make sure that they're all turned on. So place the lever, turn it on. Now the last row of observers. Solid blocks. So see how easy it is to build, guys. More solid blocks. Now make sure to have droppers and place one item inside each of those. It would be actually a good idea to place the string first. So here, let's try to reach the invisible block here and place your string here, and then place your, oops, oh no, back again. So place your droppers with one item inside. Now you can build a support line. This can even be a wall, and then make sure that those droppers are empty. So for each pair of hoppers, you only want to have one item inside each of them. And now if you place your comparators, you will notice that all of them are going to be on at the same time. Okay, so now we need to make sure to have slabs here because of the reasons I mentioned during the video. You can choose any blocks to replace those glass blocks. Just make sure that they are there, otherwise the villagers will escape. Those blocks are also important because otherwise the villagers will step on top of the comparators. And I like to cover those as well, just to prevent mobs from spawning. You can try to place blocks in here, but if you can even use solid blocks. This is in case you don't use redstone dust. Okay, if you're only using rails, you can place even solid blocks here. And let me grab a lever here, and if you power this, you can see that the power goes through solid blocks. But this doesn't happen with redstone dust, so be careful. Time to choose where your artificial village should be. Alright, so if you want your villagers to come from this side, then your artificial village needs to be on this side. I'm not going to do that because we already have an artificial village here, and those would merge, and this would be a mess. So you need to make sure that when you build your artificial village, you don't have any other villages in a radius of 64 blocks to this building. Otherwise, your villagers will be confused. So clearly, in our case, our villagers will be coming from this side, and they will try to go towards that side. And this is how you choose the placements of your trapdoors. If your villagers are coming from this side, then you place your trapdoors in this orientation. So you see that the first thing that they will find is a space to fall in, and if they would come from this side, they would be stuck. This is why. Okay, so you have to make sure that all your trapdoors are aligned like so. You can see that they stand vertical because of the levers that we have back here. And here you can place your final trapdoors. Don't worry about them being iron. You can have all of those trapdoors can be wooden trapdoors. Okay, I would only recommend if you have the resources to make those trapdoors out of iron, because this is where the players are going to be interacting with the system, and you want to make sure that they don't click here. If you have the slabs here or here, it's not a problem as well. They can try to interact by accident with the trapdoor. So yeah, make sure to not let that happen, because otherwise your villagers will start running around. So back here we have our artificial village. And once again, this could be a villager breeder. Alright, you just have to make sure you have enough doors here, a bunch of villagers, like 8 or 10 villagers. Also be aware that if you have 10 villagers, this could become an iron farm, so you can make a triple version where this behaves as a villager breeder, a attractor to the other villagers, as well as the iron farm, which would be pretty cool. I'm not demonstrating it here, but I think I should. Okay, so counting the space for the village, the center, the door, the center, all that space plus the farm, it shouldn't exceed 64 blocks. Also, you don't need to go on a straight line. It can be underground as long as the radius is correct. Okay, guys? Alright, so I built a little structure down here, and this is where the villagers are going to be arriving. So once again, you punch them, they have the particles, it means that they can see that villager back there, that village back there. Which, they will take a little while sometimes, but eventually they will all try to go towards the correct direction. So you just need to make sure that those trapdoors that close after them are going to be leveled with the floor. They cannot close like up here, for example. Okay, you need to make sure of that before you introduce your villagers inside your village. Okay, so all you need to do now is I like to have a block here, and let me grab a wooden trapdoor. So like this. So the last villagers, they're going to stand either here or here, and in whatever case, the next villager that comes in will drop this villager in a place of your choice. And here are your villagers waiting for trading. If you don't want them, just press the button, you get rid of them. You can do the save system as you wish. If you guys are having any doubts, just let me know in the comments. I can leave you guys a map download if necessary as well, but this is basically how the system works. I really love how this is working. I can't wait to implement this in my survival series. And for now, guys, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time, guys. Don't forget to give me some feedback. See you.